Okay. I hope my screen's visible to all. Is this visible? Is this visible to all?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
question 61.
Yeah. So far we've kind of covered about 60 questions, and one of the things with those questions was I think towards the last from 41 to 60, I had increased the complexity of the questions. Okay, because unlike PMP, PGMP is going to be slightly more complex. Okay, and I think in one of my videos I mentioned that if you felt PMP was complex, PGMP is going to be three times complex. Okay, and that complexity is for various reasons. One of the key reasons being not enough material being available everywhere. Okay, and that's one of the key motivations for me to kind of prepare this resource so that anyone who's interested, they at least have some kind of a guidance. I'm not saying that this is the only guidance you should be using. You should be using basis your own requirements, but this is something to just get you started. Okay, in the last session that I had, like a week, more than a week back, one of the things that I suggested was in the exam when I gave there were multiple choice questions as well. Okay, wherein they would ask you to just choose all the options that are applicable. Okay, so I think I had about three or four questions when I gave my PGMP exam, and I thought that let me introduce at least 10 questions like those, which is what you're going to see on the screen now, from 61 to 70. Okay, so these are the 10 questions that we have. Now, the purpose of these questions and this entire session today is not to rush through. Okay, the questions. Okay, I'm going to cover all the questions. Okay, if in an hour we are only able to cover five questions, then that is also fine. Okay, my point over here is we are not going to speed through this. We're going to try and understand this so that when you are applying for the PGMP exam and attending it, hopefully you have a better clarity. Okay, uh, so now with this, I open up the question. So please have a read on the question. Okay, and as while you're reading through, I'm gonna kind of quickly underline some of the facts. Okay, and once you're read through, please voice out what options you believe. Now over here, I've given you choose two. Exams never gonna have something like this. Okay, let's be mindful of that. Exam is gonna say choose all that apply. Okay, that's how the exam's gonna say. But just to get into that mindset, I've given you this flavor. Okay, so please start reading through. Okay, any responses on this? Remember, you only have to choose two over here.
C, direct the project managers to continue searching for a technical solution, offering an additional risk reserve budget to address the delay.
Okay, okay, mm-hmm. Interesting. So we got two
Maybe
options, right?
first time. This is
Mhm.
the first time I'm seeing such a question, so I have
No. That's
zero
see, and that's the
background.
reason, right? That's the reason. So see, the reason I'm doing these sessions is for us to kind of take time to understand the questions. Okay,
Okay.
perfectly fine for you or anyone to get the questions wrong. Okay, we are going to build up the mindset so that we can answer the questions correctly in the exam. So as much as possible, we could have questions going wrong or having understanding gaps, which is what we'll try and fix in over here. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, so don't get too hung up like, oh my god, I'm seeing this for the first time. That's fine. Okay,
Mm.
that's fine. So we got two options. Can I hear from the others as well? What are the two options that you believe we need to select over here?
I feel, can I say?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think B and D are the answers for
Okay,
this
okay,
challenging question
okay,
to yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's E and B. So first we will do the evaluation of the impact, right, on the benefits and the business case,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and then we will schedule a call with governance board, right, to update the business case.
perfect. Okay. So again, right? You any further answers, or we okay? I'll start giving the explanation then. Are we okay with this? Okay. So let me start off, right? So let's go top to bottom. Okay. So what we are saying is document the performance shortfall as a lesson learned to inform the planning of future programs in the organization. See, documenting lessons learned is very critical step. Okay. However, you're asking about immediate next steps over here. Okay. So yes, you will document it, but what we need to do is we need to look into what are the other steps. Are any of those steps need to go first? Okay. So none of these answers may be wrong. Okay, but it's just that we need to find out which are the closest to the correct. Okay. So A, yes, can be done, but would it be the immediate one? Not necessarily. Okay, so hence A goes out, which all of you unanimously also kind of went through and said that well, A doesn't fit in. Okay. Next one, schedule a meeting with the governance board slash sponsor to present the updated business case viability and obtain a go no go decision on the program's continued execution. Okay, let's understand this. So what has happened? The original benefit that we expected was 30%, but now we are only going to get 15%. Okay, now obviously, right, it's almost half what we were expecting. So we need to definitely have a meeting with the board saying that okay, well, this is where we are today and there is no way this is going to fix, because you see, right, no technical fix here. Okay, so this 15% is there. It's not like it's 15% today, but hope we do some kind of a changes, something will work out. Not necessarily. Here we are saying that well, there's nothing we can do, so it is a reduction in here. So remember this, right, with programs, one of the key things that you do is you have to deliver value. Okay, now over here your value itself has gone down by half. Okay, it's half the value. Is it really worth investing the money now? Okay, and that's where what happens is normally a program manager would kind of go to the board. Okay, and they would say, okay, fine, this is the business case that we have. Okay, now do you still believe that we have come down from 30 to 50%, 15%, and we can't go back? Are you okay for us to still this program to continue? Sometimes they might come back and say yes, sometimes they might say no, not worth it, so cancel it. Okay, so that might also happen. So in that case, right, that decision is not the program managers alone. That decision has to come in from the governance board. So B is yes, our benefit has come down by half. Would we do this? Definitely we would do this. Okay, however, we are just going to park this and we're going to read out the following ones. Okay, direct the project manager to continue searching for a technical solution, offering an additional risk reserve budget to address the delay. Okay, now please understand this, right? I've underlined something over here. With no technical fix, there is no feasibility at all. Okay, see, when the question itself is clearly telling you that there is no technical feasibility, no way you can actually fix it. Okay, then why would you want to kind of further keep on saying that no, I'll still ask the project manager to continue searching? Okay, so just be mindful, read these keywords in there, okay, before you decide that okay, fine, I want to go for an answer or not. Okay, so this option goes out of the window because well, not there. Now, D. Initiate the program formal change request process to formally document the necessary scope reduction in the integration project. Okay, so this, right, when you have to really think about it, I think you cannot immediately get onto this one unless the board kind of approves you to kind of go into that direction. Okay, so I think someone said D is the answer. Yes, D could be the answer, but it's 2 steps and not 3 steps. Okay, so let's still park D here. Okay, because right now it's saying one of the answers is schedule a meeting, and nowhere over here it says that he's already had the meeting. Okay, so let's park D over here. Okay, and let's read E and see whether it's good enough for an answer, whether it can throw away D or not. E is saying formally reevaluate the program's business case and benefits realization plan to determine the financial and strategic impact of the 15% reduction. This is actually the first thing that you're going to do before you even go to the board. You have to actually analyze, right? Okay, because you just can't go to the board saying that, well, this is the feasibility. So what you need to do is you basically need to kind of understand. You need to do your analysis because again, you're a program manager. You're just not a person who's getting people together, right? That's part of the job, but not the only job. Okay, so E is a lot more closer, okay, to the immediate 2 steps. Okay, so hence when we look into that, right, the answer is more towards B and E. Okay, I may be wrong, but let's check what the answers are. Okay, so you see B and E as the answer. Okay, now I'll take a quick pause. Again, we don't have to rush in. The purpose of these sessions is for all of you to kind of understand. Yes, Maddie, go ahead.
Sorry, it was by mistake.
Okay, no worries. Sham, you had a question.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to
Mhm.
come back. Once you started explaining on A itself, I realized there is an option E also, which I missed to read. So I think I said B and D. It is B and E, yeah, which you also presented the correct answers. So yeah, excellent explanation, sir. Thank you.
No worries at all. Any other questions on this? Okay, so whenever you're reading these kind of questions, right? So understand, right? In PGMP, you're gonna have mix of questions. Okay, so they're gonna be 2 domains, 3 domains. They're gonna be thrown together. Okay, so over here, what you're able to see is there is a change. Okay, and then you're talking about benefits as well. Okay, so there is a change in the benefits also. So what you're seeing is a classical situation wherein you are having two things coming together, and that's where read patiently, read all the points. Okay, don't miss on any keywords. Okay, and once you do that, then pick the answer. Okay, cool. Is it okay for me to move on to the next question now? Okay, I'll move on to the next one. 62. Please go ahead. Take your time. These are lengthy questions, and mostly in PGMP, you're going to get lengthy questions. Okay, and these obviously with more options, right? I've tried to bring them as close as possible. So you're gonna see some bit of a reread you might want to do. Okay, but take your time. Don't rush in.
Aman, is it D and E?
D for David and E for elephant. Okay. I'll take responses
Sorry,
from
sorry,
others.
my bad, my. It's C and E. It's my
C
bad.
for Charlie. Okay, no worries. No worries. C for
So it will do
Charlie
the analysis first, right, for the
and E for Echo.
road-side
Okay.
dependencies, and
Mm-hmm.
then he will initiate the formal change request
Mm-hmm.
based on the outcome of that analysis.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else would like to answer? Different opinion, different answer, challenge the answer, or Aman, the question doesn't make sense. Any other answers, please? Guys, we'll have to make it interactive, otherwise, I won't know whether this is helping
Actually,
you or not.
I'm still reading the options. I need a couple of minutes and then I'll
Sure,
respond. Sorry.
sure, sure.
I will also go for C and E.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So Aman, it's almost 1.5 minutes, right, per question in exam.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. For me also, sir, it is C and E.
Okay,
These are looking very close to address the challenge what we have in hand. Thank
cool.
you.
Okay. Now I'm gonna throw a curveball into this. Okay, and we'll kind of talk through. First, let's go through our thought process first. Okay. So what's happening over here is we are saying that okay, fine, a program has kind of its core purpose is to establish a centralized data platform. Okay, there are three legacy systems, and those are getting run by three different projects. Okay, wherein they are trying to go ahead and migrate this into a central system now. Now, normally what happens is within projects, or rather within programs, one of the key things you need to remember is programs are going to have projects which have a lot of interdependencies between them, right? Because the reason you make a program is basically to integrate these projects so that you can actually deliver better results. Okay, even without program they will deliver results, but the reason you bring the program is to ensure that you integrate them for better results. Now remember all this key statement when you're even answering questions like these, wherein one project's kind of delayed and it's kind of causing a spillover on the other one. Now this one I twisted the other way around. I said one project has started finishing early. Okay, because normally in the exam you're going to see got delayed. Here I twisted the question saying that no, it's finishing 6 weeks early. Now, even finishing 6 weeks early is going to create a challenge over here, and that's what it is talking over here, that the data of project B will be inaccessible to the business. Now, that we can't afford. Okay, and they actually missed this during the planning phase. Okay, that's where the key challenges happen. And what we are saying over here, what are the appropriate actions we can do? Okay, so we'll cover the responses that we have over here. So, A is instruct project manager to delay the system closure by 6 weeks. Okay, you're never gonna do that. Okay, you're never gonna say no, don't finish early, finish late. Imagine, right? If you're doing if this project is run by a vendor and the vendor is finishing 6 weeks early, then you might have a clause in there wherein you can pay them off and you can save some money. So would you really do A? You won't do A. Okay. Next thing is B. Escalate the issue to the CIO. Okay, why would you escalate something to the CIO? Does it really make sense? What are you trying to do? Okay. Provide an analysis of which project manager is responsible for missed dependency and recommending disciplinary action. No. See, we just can't go back and say, well, oh, focus is well, someone didn't give me the data correctly, that's why we missed it. No, this is not that kind of a question. Okay. So even B goes off. Now let's also cover D. Okay. Okay, let's 6 week gap be there. Now just makes sense, right? 6 week gap means the business is not going to have data for 6 weeks and capture it as operational risk. Okay, logically, yes, you can capture things as operational risk, but saying that okay, fine, let the delay happen, let us capture it as operational risk, not the right approach. So even D goes out. Okay, so which is where the correct answers are right? It's C, analyze the program roadmap, because what you're doing is the roadmap is going to give you the entire picture of how these projects are getting delivered, how one leads to the other, and how it kind of delivers on it. Okay, so hence the C response is very right. Okay, wherein we are seeing that okay, how these things are kind of flowing into each other. Okay, and what we are also seeing is can we accelerate something in project B? Okay, and see if there are any kind of risk in that acceleration, how we do it, and if there is any temporary data that could be made available. So it's more on the analyze and possible exploration of different solutions. So C is logical there. Okay, E. Initiate a program level change request to formally update the integrated schedule and program plan to reflect the necessary resource and timeline realignment. Okay. Yes, that will be one of the key activities, right? Because we are going to finish it early. Okay. And let's not stop that. Let's initiate a change request because the change request itself have a lot of these elements baked in. What to do when we are going to be late, what to do when we are going to be early. So hence C and E are most correct ones. Okay, now let me throw a curveball over here. Now let's just say instead of two, I scratch the word two here. Okay, I remove it. It only says which is the most appropriate action. Okay, when you get into which is the most appropriate action, can you tell me, okay, which is going to be the answer? So we already know it's C and E, right? When we had two. So can you tell me when it's only most appropriate means only one? You only have an option to choose one. So which one are you going to pick?
C, I think, would be
C, right?
the idea.
C for Charlie or E for elephant? Sorry.
I mean, if it is the next
Mm.
appropriate step, right, then it would be analyze program roadmap first, do the
Absolutely.
evaluation, and then see what can be done, right, to
Absolutely.
mitigate that issue.
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
solve the issue.
See, the most important thing over here, right? Before you take any action, okay, the PMI mindset says is analyze first. Okay. So a small word in this case, right? I removed the word to from here. Okay. A small context being shifted, your answers will suddenly start shifting. Okay. Similarly, when you're looking into it, right? So let's just say what is the most appropriate action to resolve this change? Okay, so if I include the word keyword change over here, okay, then both the answers become too close to each other. Okay, because over here one group might interpret that, oh well, now we have identified this as a change, so that means some analysis has been done. That's where it gets into the gray area. Okay, and believe me, there might be some gray area questions which might also come in. Okay, so things like those might also be there. Okay, so I hope this kind of gives you comfort around when you're reading questions, how you need to kind of pay attention and kind of take it forward. Okay, any further questions on this before I move on to the next one?
Can we have that answer which you
Oh
normally
yeah, yeah, sure. There you
bring
go.
it up?
There you
Yeah,
go. There
so
you go.
that's
There you go.
also an
Yeah,
explanation
yeah,
which you already did.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll always bring up the answer. So thanks for that. I was skipping too fast today. Okay.
Thank, thank you. Yeah.
And before you go to the exam, right? If you do feel that you need a quick revision, you can try and use these. Okay, I'm pretty sure there are other resources out there as well. So see if this helps you when you're doing the revision, because even these explanations that I put in over here, these explanations I've tried to keep it as crisp as possible because this will help you get into that mindset. Okay, yeah, Sham, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm planning, at least I've given myself a time for preparing. My
Mhm.
target is January 2026. By end of it, I want to appear for the final exam.
Good, 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 good.
So I will be following you and your tips as well as the YouTubes which you are uploading it and these sessions also. So yeah, I am in for it.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All the best. Let me
Thank you.
move now to the question 63. I have deliberately put this question over here, so just be patient when you're reading this.
So I mean, is it B and C?
B for Bravo, C for Charlie. Okay.
D might be the one thing, but the last sentence is, I mean, that might not be applicable as immediate step.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I mean, D might be the one of the contender, but the last sentence right after and
Perfect.
this sentence, so that might
Mm-hmm.
not be the correct step
Mm-hmm.
in this case.
So remember over here, there are certain keywords. Okay. Consistently misses. Okay. And her department has been issuing policies. Okay. Which are directly contradicting or conflicting with the program objectives. Okay. Anyone else would like to answer as well?
I need few more minutes. Sorry, one more minute I'll take. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there are
For,
10
for
multiple choice questions, right? That might be the part of reason.
So I have introduced 10 multiple choice questions over here so that you get into the mindset of thinking when you get
Mm-hmm.
multiple choices. Okay. And I've narrowed it down to only two options within the questions. Okay. Within the responses, sorry. Okay. But just remember, right? Things might be different in the exam. In the exam, you're not going to have choose two. In the exam, it's going to
But
say
there
choose all
might be
that apply.
multiple.
Choose all that apply. That's a
What is the
keyword.
percentage of the questions in the exam?
Uh, Again, everyone has a different percentage. So for me, when I gave my exam, I think I had about 3 or 4 questions. Okay, when I gave my exam.
Thank you.
Hmm.
yeah, so I'm ready, sir. Now, can I
Hmm.
say my
Yeah, yeah,
option?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, C is one,
Hmm.
and between D and E, I'm slightly confused which one is the perfect fit. So C definitely yes, and between D and E, if I have to check, I think E would be more close. So I will say C and E. That are my two options.
Okay. C and E, right? C for Charlie and E for
Yes,
Echo. Okay,
correct,
cool.
correct.
Okay,
Thank
For
you.
me, B and C would be more appropriate.
B and C. Okay, okay, cool,
Mhm.
perfect. Hmm. Go ahead.
I'll also go for the B and C. I just want to understand in the B answer, what is this organizational pathology?
So in PMI questionnaires, right? You're gonna have certain words that you're gonna see, which are not something that you will find in the PMI text at all. Okay. So for example, for
Okay.
PGMP exam, you have to refer to standard of program management. Okay, that's what you need to refer. Now, whenever you're reading questions like these, please be mindful. Okay, if you're coming across any specific word which you do not have a direct recollection of. Okay, just remember
Mhm.
this particular point over here is, don't directly jump on because something song sounds too fancy. Okay, now again we'll kind of go through these one by one. Okay, organization pathology is basically you're trying to basically understand how this person, there are various those kind of things, right?
Is it like
Behavioral
behavioral?
test and all those things. So he's primarily
Is it like
primarily
toxic
focusing on
culture?
that. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it like toxic culture?
Toxic culture, behavioral analysis, all those things. Okay, culture analysis, all those things kind of come in. Okay, but just be mindful that whenever you see something like this, okay, which is fancy, which is not part of your text, okay, be extremely cautious with those answers. Okay, don't try and mix fancy words in your responses. Is my simple suggestion to you. Okay. And perfect. So let's kind of go through it. Okay. So first one, I'll go from top to bottom. A, instruct the project managers to temporarily delay the component delivery. It's like tit for tat. Program and Project management doesn't work that way. So A is absolutely out. So there is never going to be a tit for tat kind of situation. B and C will come later. D, formally document the VP's non-compliance and policy conflicts and forward the issue to the program sponsor for immediate intervention. This could also be an option. Okay, because this guy has been consistently missing it. Okay, it's not that he's missed one or two. And let's just say if it just had ended on missing the review meetings, that's fine. But what is happening is now they are kind of also making policy changes, and this is entirely around policy changes, right? Now her department is also issuing policy changes. Okay,
Like
which is, yeah. Mhm.
here actually, what approach should we follow? Like, should it be kind of a escalatory kind of a approach, or
I'll come to that. I'll come to
collaborative
that.
approach?
I'll come to that. So we are going to read through each one of these, and then we're going to look through the answer. Okay. So the purpose of this, these sessions are primarily to get you into that mindset. Okay. So we are not going to speed through all the 10 questions. So today, if we finish 5 questions, we'll only finish 5 questions. Okay. We don't have to rush. Okay. We don't have to rush at all.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So let's spend time in understanding it. Okay. Not rushing it. Okay, perfect. So let's go on this one, right? Sorry, what I was explaining earlier was around formally document VP's non-compliance. Okay, because this VP is actually missing a lot of meetings, and then you're actually seeing a contradiction coming in wherein they are actually issuing policy memos, which is not aligning. So not necessarily a wrong answer. Okay, because now your program, what you're saying is this is a threat. Okay, by the stakeholder. Okay, this is a threat. So threat, other word for threat is risk. Remember this, right? Okay. So has it become an issue? No, the keyword over here is threat. If it says to mitigate the issue, then your thought process is going to be slightly different. But here it is still saying threat. Okay. Now let's see if there is something associated to threat somewhere in the options. Okay. Now we saw D, which is primarily saying that document it and escalate it to the sponsor. That's what it primarily says. And E is saying, well, hold on, it's a threat. Okay, so what is the closest word to threat? Like I was mentioning earlier, is risk. Okay, whenever you identify a threat, wouldn't you actually go ahead and update that in the risk register? Wouldn't that be a normal thing for you? You would do that, right? You would put that in the risk register. So, okay, first part makes sense. Escalate the conflict to the governance authority. Okay, now it's saying that put it in the risk register and escalate. Okay, presenting the objective evidence of non-compliance and the potential risk to the program benefits and schedule. So again, from the threat perspective, even this makes sense. Now the thing is, this particular answer has got two facts together. Okay, risk register and escalate. Got it? So let's park these ones. So D and E, we have parked them. I think between D and E, now you're getting a bit more direction around which one we need to go. Okay. Now let's go to B over here. Conduct a formal root cause analysis. Now, the moment you see the word root cause analysis, right, don't get your brain to understand that this is the only right answer. Okay, I understand that a lot of mock questions, even in PMP, they had root cause analysis. Definitely, that's the correct answer. I've seen myself a lot of videos. The moment they say the word analysis there, that's the right answer. Okay, but hold on, you have to understand what's being spoken over here. Organization pathology, fancy word. Okay, have you heard that in your standard? Not necessarily. Okay, because this is a fancy word. So hold on to that. Okay, can we do a root cause analysis on his behavior? Yeah, that can be done. But what you also have is you have review stakeholder engagement plan here. And what does your stakeholder want? How do they want to engage? That is something that will be there in the stakeholder engagement plan, right? And then what you're saying is also meet up with the person. Okay, understand how does a person needs to get engaged, then meet up with the person, understand the underlying concerns, and align the expectations. So C, overall, everyone has chosen this. Okay, so C is correct. Now we've got challenges between B, D, and E. Okay, so C addresses the engagement side of it. Okay, now does anything address the threat side of it is what we need to do. Okay, threat, the other term for threat is risk. Okay, so I'm just going to now clear this off, and this time I'm going to bring up the answer because your answers were a bit spread out. Okay, so the answer over here is C and E. Okay, now you understand why I brought this up. Okay, you see the keyword over here: engagement, threat. For the engagement, now you see it's very clear stakeholder engagement plan. Do we agree with that? Logical, right? If there is something wrong in the engagement, then what you need to do is you need to basically and look at this, right? Misses the meeting. So it's a low engagement but high influence. Okay, so we have to be extremely careful with this. Okay, so we're going to go through that. We're going to ensure that the engagement is back on. She cannot keep on missing on the meetings. Okay, and well, is there a risk? Yes, we have identified this as a risk. So when it's a risk, then where we go? We go in the risk register. Okay, now over here what we are also going to do is, okay, let's say even after the engagement plan other things don't happen, we have to still escalate in this case. Okay, because what we are saying is, well, there are conflicts coming in right away. Program deliverables are going to get impacted, so we're putting into the risk register and we are escalating the risk to the governance authority. Okay, because it's a program level risk, right? Okay, the governance board, okay, or the steering committee, whichever way you call them, all these are interchangeable names. They need to now know what needs to be done. Okay, clear with that? I think I saw a couple of hands being raised. Please go ahead. Sorry, someone had
Okay,
raised the hand. Yeah.
Aman, so my thought process was, see, basically, yeah, so I thought E might be the correct option, but that come later, right? Mm, I mean, the question is what would be two immediate actions that we have to do in this
Yes.
case. So my thought process that B, C, and then we will do E, right?
So once again, right, fancy word.
Understand, but the question is two immediate actions, right? We have to do
Yes.
analysis as well,
So
correct?
so this is where, right, when you're reading questions which are complex like these, okay, you have to pay attention that
Hmm.
what is exactly that you are trying to resolve over here. Here, the reason I've made this question this complex is I brought in two specific scenarios in front of you. One is around engagement, okay, of the member, okay, in this case, the stakeholder. The engagement is having an issue. The second thing, what we are saying is that because of that engagement issue, now we also have a threat, okay, there is a risk that has come in. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to look into both of these. Now, think in this perspective, right? The answer that we were looking earlier, B and C. Okay, let's look through that for a minute. Okay, when you look into B and C, does it address the threat?
This that doesn't address the threat, but the question talks about two immediate actions. That's the reason I
Yeah, yeah,
selected
it's
E. I
it's
mean,
gonna
there
be
is
like that only. So
no
imagine
analogy,
this,
right?
right? Imagine
Obviously,
this.
I mean,
Imagine this.
I'm not saying that E is the incorrect answer, but my thought process is since the question talks about two immediate actions, then I selected E. And
Mm,
the other factor that I have not chosen E because right, escalate is the last resort, right, for any PM or program manager.
yes.
And
So
that
so
E
this is where,
talks
right? I'll
about
just
two,
add in
right? So
one
that's
thing
the
over
reason
here. I'll
I have
just
not
add.
selected that.
I'll just add in one thing over here. Okay. When you're comparing PMI versus PGMP mindset, right? Don't go with the immediate mindset that escalation is something that we should not be choosing as an answer at all. Okay. If you look
No, I'm
through
not
some of
saying. I
my
mean, I'm not saying that that should
Hmm,
not be the correct way. Obviously, if there is,
hmm,
there are no, I mean, correct or suitable options available, right, in
mhm.
answer, then obviously, escalation would be one of the options which we can.
Absolutely, absolutely. So once again, right, you will have to be extremely patient when you're reading these kind of answers because here the complexity increases. Okay, because you are now looking into couple of responses which are extremely close. The reason I brought this answer here, this option over here, is to just make you guys aware. Whenever you see fancy words, please understand. Whenever you see fancy words, okay, which you have not read in your in your standard, in the PMBOK, and so on, be extremely cautious when you're choosing those answers. Okay, that's the reason I brought this particular option in here. Okay,
Okay,
so
noted. Yeah.
again, there are no answers which are wrong. I would say that everyone has their own interpretation. In one world, yes, it might be correct. In the other one, it won't be. Okay. The reason for me to bring this up, I've already explained. Okay. Has
Understood.
anyone else also raised the hand? I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, when we talk about risk
Hmm.
register, Typically, it consists of the issue, the cause, the chronology, etc. So when we do a root cause analysis, typically it gives you further material to put into the risk register. Otherwise, it will become a very generic risk. And typically, what we see on projects or programs nowadays is clients asking us to make the risk register very specific. Like, what have you done to analyze the risk? What have you done to understand? So logically, if you do a program risk register entry without performing an RCA, it kind of becomes a kind of a incomplete action basically.
Which is a very good option, and let me explain. Okay, so when you are having this meeting, the option C, when you look into it, okay, why do you think you are having this? Why do you think you are having the meeting with the VP?
To understand what is the misalignment and how we can address it.
Which in this case, right, you're trying to understand their perspective and
That is also
understanding.
kind of one kind of RCA, right? That is to discuss
Exactly.
with
Okay.
VP. You cannot do RCA basically.
Okay, and just remember this over here, right? The answer B becomes a bit erratic. Okay, because what you're doing is you are gonna go on your own.
Yeah,
Okay,
which is like challenging the authority.
yeah,
So
you
basically,
you're
she told
basically,
us I can answer B, basically that in that way.
yeah. So
Okay.
B becomes a bit challenging. See, understand, right? The moment you're seeing engagement, okay, try and see if there is any responses which has something around meetings, something around interactions. B is saying, I'm going to individually go ahead and do some root cause analysis on why this VP is behaving this way. What, you're going to hire detectives, okay, to understand that? Okay, so fancy words, incomplete statements, just be mindful when you're choosing those answers. Okay, and always try and see, look for answers which are as close as possible to what is given in the question. Okay, don't rush in. Okay, the moment, see over here, right, I introduced with this just a single point over here, I introduce one thing which everyone who will pick up the answers will say root cause analysis, yes, this is the answer. Okay, but hold on, this is your root cause analyzing on a person without even engaging with them. Got it? Good. Any other questions, any other thoughts rather on this? I'll bring up the responses as well. Okay, so please have a look into the responses.
C and E, right?
Cool. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. I think let's only do two more, okay? Because I don't want to speed in. Let's absorb the time. Okay, 64. Let's go on to this one. This is relatively simpler as compared to the earlier one. Okay,
I'm ready, sir. Can I say?
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, I feel it is A and C.
A for apple and C for Charlie. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, A and B.
Okay.
I'll also go with A and B.
Okay. Any other responses?
I would go for E, but I have only one answer now. I don't have the second answer. I still have to go through the question, the answers again. But my first answer would be E. Yeah.
E for elephant. Okay. Mm-hmm. Any other responses? Would you like 15 more seconds, or would you like me to kind of now go through the answer? I at least want to cover one more question, guys. Okay. At least you should have 5 questions gone through today. I wanted to do 10, but at least let's have 5. Any other thoughts on this, guys?
You
Any
can
other
go.
responses? Or shall I go through the answers now? Okay. Let's go through the
Please go
answer.
to the answers.
Okay. So let's talk through it, right? So let's go bottom to up this time. Okay, because we've got responses which are A, B, and C. So let's go bottom to up. Instruct the project manager to use cost saving. Okay, see, understand, right? What they are saying is they are saying there are local testing resource shortages. Okay, that is what is happening over here, and that's the proposal that he is saying that okay, let me use lower cost. But what is happening over here is there's going to be this particular approach, okay, or the standard that the local resources are going to use, that's going to fall short of the global standard required for encryption. Now remember this, right? With financial systems, encryption is a very key part. Okay, encryption just not at when the data is in the database, it's also when the data is in transit and so on, right? So it becomes very, very critical to kind of ensure, okay, that we just don't ignore the required standards. Okay, that becomes a key governance one. So saying that okay, let the standards go away, we are not going to bother about the standards, let's finish the project or program in this case. E is incorrect. Okay, your key concern over here is location short testing resources shortages. The approach has to align with the standard, guys. It has to align. You should never negotiate with the standard. Simple as that. Okay. The Now let's go D. Immediately reject the proposal as a program governance dictates adherence to a single global standard to ensure consistency and
Sorry,
prevent scope creep.
Aman,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
sorry, I had one question.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when we say fall short in terms of local testing resource
Mm-hmm.
shortage, so is it like manpower shortage or equipment
No,
or?
no. See, look into this, right? Locally certified security standard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what they are saying is resources are short. He's saying that let's go with the lower cost, locally certified
And
security standard. So what he's saying, this local security standard, okay, it will save time and money. Okay, means it will be able to kind of finish things faster. Okay, but the standard itself does not completely align with the global standard.
correct, correct. But what is local testing resource? Is it like people or
Yes.
budget
So
shortage or
over here, so this one is more hinting towards people. Okay.
people? Okay.
So and it's a very good question that you have asked. Okay. Now remember the word resource being used by PMI not necessarily always means people. Okay. Please remember this point. Not always resource is going to mean people. So be extremely cautious when you're making that assumption. In this one, yes, you can safely assume that we are talking about people over here. Okay. And we are having shortage of people. Okay. To do the testing. Got it? Okay. And the way he's proposing to kind of move around that is let's get something locally with local standard because we don't have people with the global standards being available. So let's go with the local security standard. Okay. But it does local security standard is not not as good as the global standard, which is where our entire crux is. Okay. I hope that answers. Okay. Now let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Thank you.
Let's go to D. Immediately reject the proposal. Hold on, right? Uh, we understand, yes, there could be some kind of a misalignment, but don't immediately take any action. Okay, remember, right? Whenever you're getting into these situations, first you need to understand. Okay, so saying immediately reject the proposal, well, doesn't meet on because we have to align to the global standard. You would eventually do that, but that may not be the first thing that you want to do. Okay, you want to get a bit more understanding around it. Okay, now we are with A, B, and C. Most of the answers have come through A. So update the program risk register, documenting the UK project's non-compliance as a high priority risk and a potential quality issue. Okay, yes, we would put something in the program risk register. Okay, because there are local resources which are short. Now, again, right, they will be there will be a bit of a assumption that you'll have to make. So we'll hold on to A for a minute. Conduct an impact assessment of the proposed change on the program's quality objectives, overall security profile, and long-term maintenance costs. So this outright meets extremely logical. So we don't have any challenge with B. Okay, and then we have now challenge between A and C. C says initiate the formal change management process, providing the analysis of the impact, and present a recommendation to the governance board for a decision. Hmm. So it's interesting now. Okay. One side, it is saying that this is a potential risk. So let's document this. Now let's understand. And I'm just going to clear off all because there's a lot of ink now. In the question, do we have anything which talks about risk? Do we see any keyword like threat or anything like that? Not necessarily, right? Okay. So we don't have anything on risk. Okay, cool. Now what we are saying is required actions. Okay. Again, this is leaving it quite open. So it again brings us between A and C. Okay, what should we choose? Should we initiate a change request saying that, okay, let it be marginally short? Okay, we'll still go ahead with it. So, again, right, too close to each other. Okay, now let's bring in the answer and then we'll talk through it. Okay, so the answer over here is B and C. Okay, so you guys remember, right? Earlier, when I had mentioned, okay, I said, can you look through and see if there is anything around threat and so on? Okay, there is nothing keyword that's been mentioned over here. Now we can obviously assume, okay, we can obviously assume that, well, this is going to create a threat. Okay, but hold on, right? What is this person saying over here? What is this person saying that, okay, fine, he's got less resources, okay, and he's proposing a change, right? What he's saying is, let's go local. He's proposing a change over here. Now this is where you'll have to be very careful when you're reading these kind of things. One side, your immediate reaction is, oh, he's gonna go ahead and execute using the local standard. Oh, that's a risk. Let's talk through compliance. Okay, but hold on, has he started that yet? No. What is he proposing? He's proposing a change. See, understand over here, it proposes adopting a slightly lower cost. He's still proposing. And is there anywhere where it says threat or risk or potential issue or potential problems? Nothing of that sort. Okay, so you're gonna see twisted questions like these. Now I'll take a pause. Let's I'll bring the answer up. Okay, I know these ones are difficult. They are not easy. Okay, but happy to take any questions that you might have or any inputs as well.
So basically, the difference between option option B and option E, E for
Mhm.
elephant, is that instead of directly going ahead with implementing the change, you are using a cautious approach.
Yes,
And first you are conducting an impact assessment.
because he's proposing a change. No, he's proposing a change over here. You have to do an impact assessment. Yeah.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct. And that relation between B and C, like you first conduct a impact assessment and then you initiate a formal change management process. So So what exactly are you changing? You are changing because you said we all agreed that we cannot change the standard. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, Now we are initiating a formal change management process, providing analysis of impact, so on and so forth. So basically, are we saying the gap between the local testing resources and the required resources is something which is something of a threat, but is under control? We are trying to establish that.
So I'd say don't go with that kind of a complicated thinking here. Break this into extremely simple thought, right? Okay. There is a change that is being proposed by one of your project managers. Okay. With that change, you do not have any impact on time and cost. Rather, you'll be actually saving on time and cost. However, one of your program objectives is going to get impacted. Okay. You got my point? Simplify it.
Okay.
Simplify it. Okay.
Yeah.
A change is being proposed. Okay. Yes. Why is the change being proposed? Because there's some resource shortage. Understood. Fine. Change is being proposed. Okay. With that change, no time and cost issues are there. We are all happy with that. But one of the program objectives is going to get hampered. Okay. Now, when you think through that particular answer, okay, what comes into your mind? Well, there is an impact on the program objective. So I need to do an impact assessment, right? Of whatever this proposed change is there,
Uh, Correct.
right?
Even if I talk about the cost part, like in today's projects, if we are kind of saving something, it becomes a double-edged sword. If you
Yes.
are saving on some deliverables or saving on some
Yeah, yeah,
cost,
yeah.
the client immediately asks to reimburse them for that cost, because then still claiming that cost would be an undue advantage to the contractor. So they ask us to
Hmm.
raise a negative change order sometimes.
So my suggestion over here is whenever you're at least for the PMI exams, okay, don't get too involved in how real world happens. Okay, because see, real world has so many dynamics in there. So, for example, right, what PMI says is we should in whatever project we do, okay, there should never we should always be ethical, okay, which is always the right thing to do. Okay, now imagine this, right? If there is a project manager who's doing a project on laying a road, okay, he's a builder who's laying a road. Do you think that in a certain geography wherein unless you kind of hand some money over to the government or something else, you won't be able to proceed? So he may not be able to succeed if he follows those things. So my point over here is real life might have a lot other dynamics which may not entirely be theoretical. Okay. And hence take a step back when you're kind of having those kind of thoughts coming in. Okay. So coming back to this particular response, right? Have I broken down this question? I've tried to make it extremely simple. Okay. Change has been proposed, has an impact on our product program deliverable. How are we going to handle it? Okay. Does that make it simple, a bit more palatable to understand?
Yeah, I mean, first do the impact analysis and then do the change management.
Change management process. Okay. Now let me, guys, are you okay for another question, or we have to drop off? Are you okay to go one more question?
When is the next session?
So I normally conduct this on Saturdays. Okay.
Okay.
So and again, I'll post it on Reddit so that people exactly know the link and everything. I'll post it over there. But are we okay to go one more question? Is my question now, or do you guys have a hard stop? I can go one more question if you guys are okay with it. Let me put it in that way.
I think we
Yeah,
should
me too. I'm okay.
digest it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go to the last question. Sorry, Maddie, go ahead.
Actually, I again by mistake.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, the last question for today. Please go ahead. Again, be patient. This is a complex question.
I'm ready, sir. Can I say? I'm audible, sir.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Yes, you're
Sir,
audible. Please go ahead. Yeah, I was on mute. Yeah.
A and D.
A for Apple, D for David. Okay.
Yeah, I will also go with A and D.
Okay.
Yeah, I will actually go for three options: A, D, and E. E for elephant.
Okay. Now remember, please, over here that
Only two choices.
we only have two choices.
Oh, only two choices. Okay,
Yeah.
then we will take out the E.
E for elephant. Okay, I'll take that out. But please remember that when you talk about exams, exam is not going to say choose two and so on. Exam is just going to say choose all that apply. Okay. This is just
Yeah, yeah.
for getting the
Sure.
mindset. I've just given two. Okay. Any other responses we had?
To say it is A and E.
A for apple and E for elephant. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. Let's go through the responses now. Okay. So what's happened over here is there was a high probability, high impact risk that we had done, that we had identified, and we had logged it into the risk register. Now, what has happened is that risk has now materialized. Okay. Means we expected it to materialize, and unfortunately, it did materialize. So risk has now become an issue now. Okay. Now, for whenever you say that you have kind of identified a risk, you're also going to identify who's going to be the risk owner, how are we going to manage the risk, and the moment you identify the risk, also you're going to also have reserves against it, right? Can anyone tell me what are the two kind of reserves that we have as per PMI? Can anyone tell me what are the two kind of reserves?
Contingency reserve and one is I think
Management
for
reserve.
program perspective, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
contingency reserve and management reserve. Okay,
management reserve.
But
perfect.
one
Okay,
is known unknown and other is unknown unknown.
unknown, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so those are the two kind of reserves. Okay, now what is happening over here is, well, we already knew that we have to kind of as a response plan, we had already negotiated a contract with an alternate provider. Obviously that alternate is provider is expensive. Okay, so we all, to meet up that expense, we would have definitely kind of put in contingency reserves, because we know, right, we'll have to give more money. So is the question over here on contingency reserve? Let's understand that first. What it is saying is, but it did not account for impact on subsequent managing manufacturing schedule.
So unknown unknown.
Okay, now do you see any management reserve related thing over here? Do you see
Uh,
anything management reserve?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
so again, basically, Aman, basically in today's scenario, I'm again taking a real life example.
Mm-hmm.
We have scenarios where vendors are, either too busy because of their workload,
Mm-hmm.
or they simply don't take up small orders, okay, because
Mm-hmm.
their appetite is large. So in such cases, if we have to make a small order to them,
Mm-hmm.
assuming you are an established company, uh, then what you can do is you pay them some expedited delivery charges, or expediting charges, and they try to increase your priority to top, and they meet your request, which they don't do for others who don't pay that expedited charges.
Absolutely, I do understand that. I do understand that. But in this case, right, what has happened is, and let me kind of bring this up. Okay, so I'm just going to erase all the link. Okay, so the answers that I think we had chosen was A, D, and E, right? Okay, so see what has happened over here. Okay, fire at key vendor's plant. His plant has gone under fire. No matter how much money I throw at him, his plant is gone. You're understanding this point over here, right? His plant is gone. Even if I throw more money to him, he can't deliver.
Yeah, yeah, I'm talking about the alternate
I,
vendor.
I I get that. I get that. Was the alternate vendor? Yes. Okay. More expensive. Okay. And when we say risk response, we have already identified this is the more expensive vendor. Okay, for which we would have obviously put a contingency reserve over here. But is the question on contingency reserve over here? Okay, so think it from this perspective, right? A risk has materialized. Okay, risk has materialized. Good. Okay, do we have a response plan? Yes, we do have a response plan. Okay, we do have a response plan. So ignore the word more expensive for a minute. Okay, risk has materialized. Do we have a response plan? Yes, we do have it. Okay, however, we did not assess the schedule. We assessed the response plan for cost, which is where we would have contingency reserves, but we did not factor in that even with the new vendor, our schedule might have got impacted, which in this case, that's what they're saying, that they did not do that impact assessment on the schedule. They did it on the cost, they did not do it on the schedule. So now what he's saying is, while we are okay with the cost side of things because we have contingency reserves for it, what two actions are the most immediate and critical for the program manager to perform now that the risk has become an issue? Okay, so do we have a response plan? Yes. Can we kick off the response plan? Absolutely yes. So the answers that we had chosen were A, D, and E, if I remember it correctly. Okay, so these were the answers that we had chosen. Now, escalate the issue to the governance board requesting additional contingency reserve. No, the problem is you already have contingency reserves, right? Because you've already identified all of this. Then why would you ask for more money? Because you've already, your response plan already has that. Okay, and remember, right, your contingency reserves, you're going to do that at the point of you identifying the risk itself. Okay, which has already been done. Think logically, right? The moment you identify a risk, you identify a response plan. You have identified over here, yes, I'm going to go with a more expensive guy. It's a known unknown issue for me, so I'm going to go ahead and put in this much of budget in here. And he's already saying, right, it's already a pre-negotiated contract. That means the pricing and everything is already done, which means the pricing is also being factored in your contingency reserves. Okay, so now going to the governance board and saying that my schedule, I factored in the cost, so I don't have any problems with the cost, but my schedule is behind. Okay, now this is where you'll have to be a bit more patient when you're reading through the answers. So let's go through the answers. The answers are A and D. Okay, now let's look into the obvious part. All right, D. Why D? Because we are saying, right, it's a risk. Well, responses have we have to execute the response plan, so we are going to go ahead with that immediately. Okay, as simple as that it could be. Why A? Well, risk has happened, right? So risk has materialized. It says risk has materialized. So when a risk materializes, won't you go ahead and update your program risk register? You have to update your log, right? That earlier this was a risk, now it has become an issue. So I need to tag it now as now this is materialized into an issue. And obviously, whenever I do that, I'll look into the cost and schedule, okay, to determine any new forecast that I need for the manufacturing project. Now, variance in cost obviously would have been done as part of it, but here the point over here, right? It's talking about the schedule. So this is the only answer which is going close to the schedule part of it. Okay. Rest all of them, when you really look into it, inform CEO via email. Okay, fine. If there is something around communication, we would do that. Okay, but that's not necessarily the case. Request the project manager to do RCA. Once again, the moment you see RCA, it doesn't mean that that's a correct answer. And luckily, none of you chose it. So you're going to go ahead and identify why the vendor had a fire at his plant. Absolutely waste of time. Okay, so C also goes off and escalate the issue to the governance board requesting additional contingency reserves. Does it say that it does not have contingency reserves over here? It says, right, this response plan has a pre-negotiated contract with an alternate, more expensive vendor. So the question is not about money. The question is about schedule. Okay, that's why when you look into it, these are the two correct answers. Okay, well, we spent 1 hour 15 minutes today. Any questions, anything else that you guys had? Happy to take them up now. Okay, I can spare 5 more minutes in case you have any questions.
So, Aman, basically, do we have any,
Hmm.
except for these you know, multiple choice options.
Hmm.
Is there any kind of a analysis kind of questions, like the question is asked and you give an answer and you have to justify why you give the answer, something like
You have
that?
to, no, 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 you don't. There is no typing in the exam.
No typing.
No
Okay,
typing,
okay.
no typing. So don't worry about, you have to type it off, but understand, right? You have to justify here.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
you have to justify here. If you don't
Correct, correct.
justify here, then it's gone.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you. It was a very good session.
No worries. Any other questions before we drop off?
Uh, so Aman, I have a question. How
Hmm.
would I know that when is the next sessions happening and how
So
it is that?
normally I put these sessions on Saturdays around 11 a.m. IST. What I'll do is, see, I do see, I'm trying to help out as many people as possible. So what I'll do is I'll put a survey on Reddit, okay, asking what is the schedule which works for everyone, okay, so that everyone has the benefit of it, because I think the 11 a.m. India time may not serve for people who are in other time zones. So I'll put up a survey, okay, for next Saturday, okay, so that you guys have a clear understanding as to, and basis whatever voting we get, I'll kind of arrange myself accordingly. There would be certain personal commitments that I have as well, guys, because kind of making all
Of
this
course.
material and kind of going through all these thought processes and everything, that itself takes time. Okay, so you will also
So
need to be a bit more
can you,
patient with me. Sorry, go ahead.
can you also send on WhatsApp, because I don't have Reddit account.
Vinod, are you part of the Mumbai chapter by any chance?
Yeah, yeah. I am part of Mumbai chapter.
Okay, so then if you're of the PGMP group over there, then you will can you get into that PGMP group and you will see
Yeah, yeah.
the,
I'm already a
yeah,
member
then
there.
you would see the links coming over there as well.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
and once again, right, I'm part of the Mumbai chapter, but this is not a Mumbai chapter sponsored. Okay, this is nothing to do with it. This is just me doing my bit for the community. This has nothing to do with any affiliation, anything whatsoever. Okay, and like I mentioned at the very beginning, this is purely volunteer. No money is going to be asked, and even if someone is asking money, not me. There's no one asking money on this. Okay, cool.
So I'm not part of any of these chapters and everything. So I have to make sure that I'll get this information from Reddit only, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
See, I
okay,
think
understood.
I had posted my email ID also sometime, but yeah. See, the thing over here is, if you guys need me to post my details, I can post the details, but it's just that it will then get a bit more difficult for me to kind of track things through. Okay. Uh, so yeah. If you need anything, join these sessions, and if you think that you definitely need to speak to me, then I can share you my number. Okay. But I'm just being mindful that uh, there's limited time that I'll be able to give.
Of course, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Sham.
Thank you for this. Anyways, yeah.
No worries, no worries. Sham, yeah, go ahead.
I'm able to connect through the PgMP group on WhatsApp, but I don't have the Reddit link. If you can share it, then I will follow that on Reddit also.
Okay, what I'll do is I think that makes sense. I'll put up the survey and I'll share that link in the PGMP WhatsApp as well. Okay, so I'll do that. Just being mindful that my membership with the chapter will most probably will finish towards end of December. Okay, and I'll have to figure out, and I've still not decided whether I'll continue with the chapter or not. That's my personal point of view, but I'll still try and ensure that you guys get as many updates as possible. Okay, I know that we are towards mid of November and we still got about 5 6 weeks to go. Okay, cool, awesome.
Okay, thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Anything else that I can help you guys on? Okay, guys, just one tiny favor. If you believe the pace is too slow, you have to let me know, because my entire purpose of this is to kind of make the session as productive as possible. Okay, just let me know if I'm going too slow, or if the example is very clear, then just kind of let me know how that works out. Okay, cool. Okay, then, thank you guys, have a wonderful
Aman, I can connect you on Reddit, right? I have my exam schedule for the next month.
next month.
Maybe
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometime
yeah.
before.
You can. Yeah, I think on Reddit also, right, I had posted my earlier YouTube links. Okay, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
uh,
I've seen that.
yeah, you've seen
I
those,
saw
right?
your videos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So see,
It
my
is quite helpful for me.
No, no
Thanks.
worries, no worries. Glad that it helped you out. So I'll try and keep on posting on Reddit. And guys, in the past I have tried to be regular every week, but again, if there are any commitments, I'll kind of at least communicate to you in advance. Hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much, Aman. Yeah.
See you
Welcome.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Aman sir.